How's it going, everybody? My name is Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. Today I'm here with my student Kita, who's crushing it on Amazon recently. Super excited to get into her journey as an Amazon seller. But if you just want to introduce yourself, maybe let them know how you got into Amazon, we can kind of go from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Warner. Hi, I'm Kita. I live in the Northwest Arkansas area. And back in 2021, I was searching, how to make money online, and Amazon came up. And I got an ungating guide and just got started scanning retail arbitrage.
Sweet. Yeah. So fellow Northwest Arkansas, go Hogs, right? Like
Yeah,
all that. For sure. So, getting the ball rolling with you're talking about retail arbitrage there for the uninitiated, basically just like walking into a retail store, scanning stuff. What did that process look like for you? Would you have started the same way again?
Yeah, I wish I had just gone straight into online arbitrage personally, but retail arbitrage was really cool because you don't know the process until you start scanning and you're like, oh wow, that actually is profitable. But you don't really learn Keepa until you really start to dig into online arbitrage because you're just looking at rank when you're scanning with RA. So I would say I would rather start with OA all over again, but if people like RA, they should go for it, go into the store. It is kind of scary at first. People are looking at you like, what is she doing? Scanning on the shelves. I'm like, don't worry about it. But I think it's a great way for people to start.
Yeah, I agree. Like I started with books because I had like no money when I started. I would be scanning the books. It's like, hey, do you work here? Like I'm sure you got that all the time where it's like they're asking you where stuff is. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to make some money here.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So you're saying you're doing some retail arbitrage. At what point did you start doing more of that online arbitrage, right? So instead of going to stores, you're going to websites. What did that transition look like for you?
Oh my gosh, I don't even recall the first time I did online arbitrage. I think I didn't even set a foot into a Walmart, which is crazy because I'm in like this Walmart country right here in Northwest Arkansas. But I didn't even step foot into a Walmart to do RA. I started with TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And then one day I think I just was like, oh my gosh, I found a good deal. Maybe I can order it online. And that's basically how I got started with OA. I didn't realize that it was a whole thing. Everything that I had watched was all RA stuff and getting ungated and grocery and toys and all this stuff. So I spent the majority of my first 2 months getting ungated on a lot of things. I could have saved a lot of that money and just picked one thing. But OA didn't come in until probably 6 months ago or so.
Gotcha. So the OA kind of 6 months ago you're doing. And how much are you doing in sales right now? I'll let you brag on yourself there.
Okay, thank you. So I've been averaging about $20,000 a month in sales with a margin about 20%. But after I started Keepa Product Finder, zero competition, last month, that boosted my sales to $35K. And I did a little over $10,000, which my margin was at like 30%. It was insane. You just get lucky sometimes, but if you put in the systems in place and everything, you'll find the product that you want to make that big money. So
yeah, that's super awesome. Like 30% margin in OA, especially doing groceries, that kind of stuff is crazy. So awesome you're able to take advantage of that more advanced sourcing strategy. I assume was that maybe some of the stuff you're stumbling on in the roadmap to unearth that?
Yeah, exactly. I did the KPF zero competition sourcing method. I was like, I'm gonna give it a try, but everyone always does it for shoes and clothes. I'm like, why don't I just try it for grocery? I got so lucky.
Yeah, that's awesome. So there's plenty of gold to be digging for. So go watch that video after the roadmap also. But yeah, like backing up a little bit. So, finding that success on Amazon. When you first started Amazon, why did Amazon stick out to you? Obviously finding success now, but why did it stick out to you? Is there anything in your background that made it easier for you?
No, not really. I just have never wanted to work for anyone else. So it was kind of like, what am I going to do with my life? Because I want to be a business owner. And so I worked in the restaurant industry forever because I was like, well, what else am I going to do until I figure it out? Started multiple businesses. I did private bartending business, which was great up until COVID. I worked actually with an MLM company for a while thinking that was the goal, but that didn't work out. I was like, okay, I got to find something to do, of course. And that's how I stumbled over Amazon. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'll make a couple $1,000s. This is insane. The level, like, guy is the limit.
Right. Yeah. You and I were just talking off camera before this. You're like, man, you're crushing. It's like, man, there's people who are doing 20 times what I'm doing. Like that's where we want to be. Like this is a really good space. And it's crazy that you're talking about the MLM. Like it's like, whoa, I can just go sell products and I don't have to have a giant pyramid and recruit everyone on the planet. Like, yeah, that's awesome. So, going in, you're talking about doing a little bit of retail arbitrage, going into online. What were some of those first steps that you took to start finding products from home? And when did things start clicking for you?
Okay, I actually started with just scanning with my phone. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I would go to a website and I would just grab my phone with my SellerAmp and I would just scan the products with the SellerAmp, and things would start to pop up, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at this bundle opportunity, or oh, look at this. And that's basically how I started. I was like, there's got to be a better way. I was like, these guys are doing $100,000 every month doing OA. Like, they can't just be scanning products on websites. Right. This is ridiculous with your phone. So I was like, okay, I got to take some courses. And of course, I stumbled over your course and everything. But yeah, that was weird.
So in the early days, you're sitting there on the computer, you got the phone in hand, and you're looking at the computer. That's hilarious.
It's so bad.
I mean, it worked, right? You found your first couple products. Like,
yeah,
that's hilarious. Yeah. So obviously, maybe don't start by using your phone and combine it. But that's super funny. So what has been kind of you talked about doing a little bit of Keep a Product Finder. What's kind of your go-to sourcing methods right now? And what's best for beginners as well? Because there's a lot of people watching this video trying to find their first product.
Oh my gosh. Keep a Product Finder is really great. But if you can like storefront stock, I highly recommend that, especially like using whatever program you want to use. I mean, I use SellerAmp, of course, but storefront stocking, just watch the YouTube video, see, and then like just start stocking other storefronts. You'll probably find someone in your niche. You know, if you like grocery or toys or whatever, you'll find someone that sells mainly that product, and you just start going through their stuff. That's the best way to do it for a first-time person, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I've done a ton of these interviews, and I think literally maybe one person has said something besides that. So don't take it from me. I'm always harping on it, but take it from the 25 other people I've talked to. Yes. Clearly, reverse sourcing kind of the way to go there. So another question I love to ask is, when you were, getting the ball rolling, all that, at some point there was a moment where it's like, oh wait, Amazon, like this is a serious thing. I could make a lot of money. Like, was there a certain product? Like, when did that light bulb moment happen for you?
Oh my gosh. It was RA, obviously. We have these local supermarkets here. It's called Harps. And so I went into a Harps because I was like, well, I'm going to go in there. I have no idea. And they had vitamins on sale. And so I did vitamin gummies, and I went to literally all the Harps in this Northwest Arkansas area, and I loaded up on their gummies. And I was like, thank God it's not meltable season, because that would have been a bust. But I sent them in, and they sold so fast. I was like, this is amazing. And I was still doing Uber and Lyft and stuff to make more money. But I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to. That's a risky business too, Uber and Lyft, having people in your car. So I was like, okay, I have to go out and go to the stores. And then, of course, I discovered, what was it called? Bolo groups.
Yep.
But I mean, that's really awesome, except for the fact that there's multiple of those, and there's so many people getting the same leads that it starts to tank. But it was definitely the gummies. I'll never forget. I think that's why I stick with grocery and health and personal beauty care, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's some of my favorite stuff. Like, we do a lot of like clothes and shoes and that kind of stuff. But if I find a winner in especially the categories you're gonna have almost no returns, like that's the way to go.
Yes, exactly.
It's also it's funny to chat, because usually I'm talking to people all over the country. It's like, oh, I know like probably the exact buildings you've walked into to make your money, and it's like
you probably were in that building once.
Yeah, that's super funny. Yeah, so you're running around town finding all those products. You're talking about like the BOLO groups, right? So if you don't know what we're talking about, be on the lookout. It's just an item. It's kind of like super hot item selling super fast. What are your thoughts on investing in like a leads list or a BOLO group? Like, should beginners do it?
If you are willing to rabbit trail off the leads list, absolutely. But I have made the mistake of buying directly off the lead list, and so did 30 other people, and the supply goes up and demand is not the same. It's like stagnant, so then the price just tanks. And it's so funny because you mentioned that now, but whenever I remember being on a leads list, and I had a winner, and it was shared on that list. And I was like, crap. I was like, no, I'm going to have to sell out before these people get it. And of course, I didn't sell out before because sick season was like going down. It wasn't even, people weren't sick anymore, really, So I was like, I got stuck with like 15 units of Robitussin just sitting at the warehouse, and there's like 40 new sellers. I'm like, that was a good one. So it's kind of a bummer. I don't know. Lead list, there's pros and cons to them, but rabbit trail, don't buy on the lead list.
Yeah, I like that, because that's a lot of beginners will hop in and leads list. In case you're not familiar, you can buy a list, 5 products, 10 products every day. We're going to send you an active lead, that kind of thing. And so like you're saying, like 30 other people are going to be seeing those leads, but go on rabbit trails. Like another thing, like especially if you got decent capital as a new seller, like I used to be completely anti leads list, that kind of stuff. But if it's $100 and you got $10,000 to throw at a business, it's like, oh, here's this sale I can check out, and I didn't know I could buy from that website. All that kind of stuff's going to be worth it. But long term, it's probably not the best solution. Like you're talking about, all that stuff is not going to be the most consistent for you. Yeah. So moving forward, do you have any, team members or anything like that? Like, what's kind of your process as far as outsourcing things? Is it all you right now?
All me right now, but I want to get a prep center. Literally this weekend, I prepped like 280 items, and I was like, I'm so sick of this. God, I'm so sick of it.
Yeah. And so then it's no virtual assistants, anything like that. So you're 10K profit right in your pocket. That's awesome that you get to build that foundation there. What's kind of holding you back from getting a prep center right now? Like, what's been the biggest pain point?
I guess like letting go of that part, and like you're almost like protecting your profit, and then but then you got to think like, what's more important? my time, or is it the little extra profit I could be putting? Like, time is obviously more important. All weekend I spent prepping. I could have been hanging out with my fiance, and he's just like, okay, well, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. So obviously you got just time as a human is valuable, but also something that I'm sure you've thought about, but for those of you guys at home, like you can ship to no sales tax prep centers. I think it's 5% on food in Arkansas, right? So
I think it is.
But still that 5%, and if anything you're buying that's more than $20, like you'd save time and money sending you to a prep center, paying them $1 a unit, right? And so we've got a hookup for you on a prep center. We can chat after this, but we've got that discount for you in the roadmap you can access. But I'll help you out with that after after we hop off here.
That would be great.
Yeah. For sure. So yeah, getting that prep center. Basically, if you guys are unfamiliar, we can just ship our items to them and then they send it to Amazon for you. So you can, focus your time, that kind of stuff. And the other thing I would ask you, like, are you spending time like putting stickers on things when you got money sitting on the sidelines? Like, you can be buying some more profitable stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's like the other check mark, right? So you're paying sales tax and you're spending that valuable time putting stickers on things. You could pay somebody, $1 a unit, right? So I bet you'll scale a lot once you do get that prep center.
This can be so good. I'm so excited.
For sure. So what is, obviously working on that probably first, what's your vision for the business long term? Like there's a lot of different ways you can take Amazon, right? So you want to do wholesale, you want to outsource it all, you want to hustle hard. Like what's your vision for the Amazon business?
So I actually attempted private label last year, failed miserably. I would like to go back into that and continue to grow that brand if possible, but I just want to be able to fund, like, obviously my life, but other exciting ventures. I don't want to just be reliant on Amazon forever. So, but I do love Amazon. It's pretty great. It's just scary. One day they could just shut me down and I'm like, I have no idea what I did, So speaking of that, do you have a lawyer on retainer?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, cool.
We do. Yeah.
Do that.
Cool. Yeah, I can get you the name as well after we hop off here. Yeah. Like you're talking about, like Amazon's great. Like we'll be totally transparent, right? Like Amazon, they can shut you down in a moment's notice if they really want to, right? It's a cash machine, all that kind of stuff. It's not your end all be all. So I like that you're thinking about going into private label, and even then that's Amazon dependent, but you can get your exit, that kind of stuff, build it out onto other websites. Like what was the private label product that failed, if you don't mind?
It was a coffee grinder. Bean grinder.
So way too saturated then, sounds like.
Oh, it was just so many moving parts. It was breaking on people. I mean, it was from China, obviously. Right. And I don't know. There was a lot of money. I finally got out of that hole, thank God. But that's good. Private label is just, it's not for someone just go in and do private label. If you think you can do it, great, and good power to you, but OA and RA is just, it's so like less of an investment. You can get your money back within a week and a half if you do FBM.
Right.
It's crazy. So it's kind of where I'm at.
And one thing you could think about, like a lot of people, they'll jump in. It's like, oh, I'm too good to do arbitrage. I want to go straight to private label. And I see it over and over and over again. Just use the arbitrage business as a cash machine, right? Now you're spitting off 10K profit last month. Yeah. Should be at least close to that moving forward, right? So I'll dump $3,000 on my private label product this month. Like, it failed. Okay, I'll just keep the cash machine going. Like that's the thing, right? You want to build that cash machine, and then you can take those risky gambles. At least in my opinion, right? I
agree.
Yeah. So you said you've been selling on Amazon since like 2021 at this point. What has been some of the changes that you've noticed on Amazon? Anything that people should be aware of, maybe?
The generics policy.
Sure.
That's been huge. I remember people used to jump on those listings, no problem. But now it's like a consistent error and being brought up in the Discord group. I'm like, yeah, dude, you can't sell on it. Sometimes you can, but either way, you should just avoid those listings anyways, because they could probably be taken down tomorrow. But that is the biggest thing I've noticed since Amazon's transitioned. I don't really know about anything else. I feel like everything's pretty similar. I don't know if you noticed something that I did not, but from 2021, it's been 2 years? Yeah, I don't think I've really noticed anything.
Yeah, a lot of people think like the sky's falling, like all that kind of stuff. So it's good to get that perspective, right? You talk to people over and over again. I've been here for 2 years. It's still good. Like all that kind of stuff. The generic nugget is pretty good there, right? So if you guys run into a listing that says brand generic, that means like anyone can edit the listing. It's kind of the wild, wild west. So I'm sure you've made the mistake of listing on one of those, and usually a good idea to avoid it because the listing can get deleted, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, be a little bit careful with that. And then something else that I kind of want to get into, right? It's like, so somebody's watching this video, she's doing $35,000 a month. That's awesome. That's where I want to be. But what's holding you back from 50, 100K a month right now? Like that's the question I think a lot of people would have as well.
I think I'm scared to spend the money. I have been holding myself back. Of course, I do test buys still. And I'm like, why am I still doing test buys? I know how to read a keep a chart. I know what to look for. But it's like scary. Like you're spending a lot of money on inventory. What if it fails, But then you're like, yeah, I lost $500, but tomorrow I'll make $1,500, So I think that is the scariest part, is putting more money into it. So
for sure. Yeah. I mean, and you've seen it, right? Like, it's just building that confidence. And all of you guys watching this video, it's going to be like, I'm not going to jump in and buy 100 units of something. That's fine. You got to test the concept, like all that kind of stuff. But I know for me, like at the sales level you're at right now, the biggest thing was just building that confidence. And you know that I can see it in your eyes. And it's like, yeah, I know. It's like, so whenever you're finding those big, massive winners, I would encourage you to 2x, 3x the sale amount you're going to buy there. And I bet it'll go pretty well for you.
That's what I did. I literally did that last month. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to find this product everywhere. And I literally signed up for like emails, like, okay, email me when it comes in stock. Email me. And I'm getting like messages from Swanson and all these places. And I'm like, let's go, baby.
Yep. And then it like doubled your profit, right? Like, like we're talking about. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So one other thing I want to touch on as well is, you know, the value of making some friendships, making networking connections. Is that something you're taking advantage of in your business?
Absolutely. I was very lucky to meet some girls in a bolo group that we were in together on Facebook. And one of the girls reached out to us and said, hey, we have these couple girls. You want to join us? I was like, okay. I like didn't know what to expect, but that has 10x my business 100%. Meeting people, and we share leads with each other. We're not like, it's really great. So highly recommend.
That's something I think a lot of people, you know, I'm harping on it all the time, obviously, but like a lot of people, it's like, oh, this is my business. I'm not sharing anything. But like, as soon as I started sharing info, like everything, you know, 5x my business, probably the same exact thing for you, right?
Absolutely.
So for someone who's trying to go out there and make connections, I know you're doing a little bit of social media, that kind of stuff. Like, what should someone do to go make the, you know, a couple, just, you know, you'll need 2 or 3 Amazon friends. What would you do if you had to do it over again?
Well, try to be helpful. If you're in a group or something, like on Discord, if you know the answer to a question from your experience, which it could be like, oh, this is what I thought the answer was, you could still, you know, comment on something. Sometimes people will comment like, what am I supposed to do? Because they live in Arkansas too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I live in Arkansas. I can help you with that tax thing because I asked that same question and now I know how to do it. So it's really just connecting with people through any type of social media, the Discord groups for sure, and post your sales, post your like shipments. People are inspired by stuff like that. So post your stuff. Like, don't be scared. It sounds kind of braggy whenever I post really good margins. I feel kind of bad, but at the same time, like, I freaking worked my ass off for that. Oh, I mean, my butt off for that. Okay. So I'm like, I want everybody to see. And of course, people have reached out to me. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I know, KPF.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, it's not bragging, right? Like you're talking about. It's like it's putting in the hard work. It's proven that, hey, I'm shipping stuff out. Hey, I sold, you know, 35 grand this month. And that's going to attract people to you. I think that's what people get wrong about, you know, social media and that kind of stuff, is that you have to make videos like Fields of Profit does, right? Like, or these are the best 3 categories. Like, no, it's like, just share your journey, right? And you're going to find other like-minded people. And I'm sure you're already having those connections. But yeah, and if someone is watching this video, they're really clicking with their story, where can they go reach out to you, maybe ask you a couple questions?
Well, I just started an Instagram account and posted my sales for rolling 12 months, but you can go to Kita FBA and it's on Instagram. You can reach out to me if you have any questions. So
sweet. Yeah. We'll put that link down below, especially if you're at similar sales level, you're looking for some people to network with. I'm sure you guys would love to bounce ideas off each other. Always good to make more of those networking connections. And just to kind of wrap us up here, you got, you know, 1, 2, like, what is those first couple steps? What's that one word of advice that you'd have for a new seller watching this video? $0 in sales. They've got $5 in sales, right? What should they go do to take action?
Just keep trying. Just keep going, keep scanning, keep going on websites. Just don't stop, okay? Because if I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me. So
yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's a big thing I think people get wrong, is like, I'm missing this piece or something, like when a lot of it is just you haven't put in enough reps. Yeah, I love it. So go put in those reps, guys. Really appreciate you hopping on the channel, Kita, kind of sharing your story there. If you guys did get value out of this video, please feel free to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know if you have any questions as well. Feel free to drop those down below. Always happy to answer those for you guys. But again, really appreciate you hopping on the channel, Kita. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.